Hi, everyone. I originally decided to write an extra lengthy post about my absence, but I felt that the video medium is more intimate, and there's no one in the office today. I'm at work, so I can futz with the equipment. Just don't tell my boss. So people have noticed that I've been gone, and I kind of disappeared, and I'm really sorry about that. I've been getting a few of my friends asking me where I was or if I was okay, because all my friends are they're gone, they're abroad, and they use my blog to keep in touch with me. So I'm fine, guys. No worries. Anyway, I decided to take a break from the internet, kind of, because I could feel God asking me to. And He'd been doing it for a few months, and I was ignoring the call because I didn't want to give up something that was so instrumental in my life and that was keeping me happy. But I gave in to His call when I snapped at my mom and I made her cry. And as some of you know, my family's going through a lot right now. So um, I was using websites like Tumblr to shield myself from the pain of my reality. But as I dove deeper into that world of the internet, I was letting my sense of compassion, the compassion in my soul, I was letting it deflate, and my heart was becoming more hardened by my need to escape. So while my soul was deflating, my pride and my arrogance was seeping through these cracks and really closing me off from being personable. So I decided to do what God asked me to do, and it sucks that I had to give in to the call when I had hurt the one person that I love so much, who was my mother. Um, so, yeah. But just to let you guys know, the crash course on sacrifice and fasting is that it really fucking sucks, but it's important for you to grow. So the period that I was off made me realize how desolate and lonely my life is because I wasn't developing myself in so many ways. And I was using things like Tumblr and just the internet in general to avoid being rooted in God. And I was really emotional, and my friends were telling me that it's because I'm going through a desert season. And everyone goes through a desert season, from Sarah and Elizabeth's barren wombs to Samson's bald head and the Jews who literally walked in the desert for about 400 years. Even Mother Teresa, her entire life was a desert season. So the desert season is really instrumental in seeing us and seeing who we are and having us break down and help us realize that we can't go through life on our own accord. Sorry about all that noise. I work next to a hospital. So, yeah, I cried a lot. I don't even want to tell you how often I cried or how angry I was at God for feeling so lonely and abandoned. But the truth is that I needed to experience everything from this past month in order to grow roots in Christ. And it was so painful because I had to accept this purpose that I had of trusting God's promises. And before I wasn't trusting Him enough. So it's still really painful, and I've grown much, but I haven't grown to where I want to be in my journey. But I still have a lot more rooting to do, and I think that's what God wanted to show me in my fast, and He showed me. But yeah, I walked into this fast thinking that I'd read some Proverbs, receive revelation, and become compassionate, like bam, Christian, done. But instead, I received a really divine breaking down of who I am in order for me to understand where my life was heading and where God wanted me to be. So I understood that I was lacking compassion, but He also was like, no, you're also having, you have a hardened heart, you lack patience, and you really lack humility. You got to get that going. And it's really unfair for me to have this hardened heart when He created me to be this amiable, like easy to talk to person. I mean, God listens to me every time, and I didn't even want to give Him 1 minute to listen to someone I love. And I was so selfish because I was so scared of all the pain that I was going through in my familial situation and in my financial situation. But I'm really thankful that God called me. And I'm blessed in all of my agonies because without this pain, I wouldn't be able to see the adjustments of myself that I still need to make. So I'm beginning to understand that this is what the blessed life is. It's that you are constantly struggling in your discipleship because God needs you for a call that your flesh would not want to answer, and you have to really take that flesh out of you. So it took me months to get to the point where I could answer God's call and fast from things that became really habitual for me. Um, and answering those calls it's emotionally painful, and I was just torn apart, and it was making me so sad, and it made me angry that people are finding joy in my sacrifices because I couldn't see what God was doing. But God, He showed me that I needed to be broken down in order to be rooted and regain compassion, to give love, live meekly, and then to find strength. So I'm very blessed in my agonies, and I have a feeling that I will always be in pain, but I will always have joy and strength because I am rooted in Him. And as my roots grow deeper, He will fill me with this capacity to love vigorously and live without distractions. Um, and it's painful, and it feels like it sucks most of the time, but really it's all for the glory of God. So this journey that I started a month ago is basically an oxymoron. It's like a sweet catastrophe or a beautiful mess or whatever lyrics you want to use. But at least it's an oxymoron for Christ, and that's all I can really ask for.